Hello. How can I help you today?
Yes, I'd like to make a deposit into my savings account.
But wait, Jamie, wouldn't you rather buy savings bonds that have money?
Who was that?
It is I, Paige, your friendly government official.
Well, what are...
Government bonds are certificates you buy from the government that increase the value in a certain amount of time. When a government is in need of money, the government may garnish these assets by issuing bonds.
When a government is in need of finances, one way in which they garner these assets is by issuing bonds. An individual will purchase a bond from a specific government, and the government will in turn utilize the money from this purchase to fund projects and meet financial obligations. However, the government borrower will be required to pay the lender for the money that it was granted. In addition to the principal, a government borrower is also required. The lender is not compensated in full until the bond maturation date. A government bond is a bond issued by the national government with the promise to guarantee to pay interest periodically and to pay the face value on the maturity date.
Selling, trading, and owning of treasury bonds is done electronically. The U.S. Treasury Department keeps electronic records of bond ownership and sales. The interest from treasury bonds is exempt from state income tax. This can be a benefit for investors living in high-income tax states like California, New York, and Massachusetts. U.S. Treasury bonds are considered to be one of the most safest investments in the world. Treasury debt interest and principal payments are backed by the full faith and taxing power of the U.S. government. Even foreign governments like China, Japan, the UK, and Brazil keep some of their reserves in U.S. Treasury bonds. According to the U.S. Treasury, China owns almost $1 trillion in Treasury securities. The financial website states that the U.S. Treasury market is the most liquid financial market in the world.
Buying a foreign country's government bond is normally called a sovereign bond.
A foreign bond functions under the same fundamental premise as a government bond or a municipal bond. Often there are higher interest rates attached to foreign bonds due to the increased risk associated with loaning funds internationally. Because of the fluctuation in international exchange rates, it is easy for an investor to lose money instead of turning a profit. Foreign bonds require numerous years to mature, and by the time a lender receives compensation for the value of the loan, the exchange rate may have plummeted.
Risks.
Many people mistakenly think their bond or the government bonds and notes without thinking of risk. Not the case. People will believe their government will not default on paid-to-pay and allegations. This has happened in Russia in 1998, resulting in the Russian government and Russian central bank devaluing the ruble and defaulting on its debt.
But the biggest risk with government bonds and notes is inflation. Most savings bonds have interest rates that are pegged to other government securities and are not adjusted for inflation, except for the Series 1 bond, which is adjusted semi-annually for inflation. You can obtain a government bond through a federal agency that has been granted the authority to do so by Congress. These federal agencies lend to or guarantee bonds for non-federal borrowers, like businesses, students, veterans, farmers, even you and me.
The debt held by the public is all federal debt held by individuals, corporations, state or local governments, Federal Reserve banks, foreign governments, and other entities outside the U.S. government, less federal banking securities. Types of securities held by the public include, but are not limited to, treasury bills, notes, bonds, tips, U.S. saving bonds, and state and local government securities.
Government bonds.
Government bonds.
Government bonds.
Government bonds.
Government bonds. Government bonds.